fancy intro music. Yeah! Woo!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to take a look and talk with y'all about the leaderboard events, the solo milestones that have come out that we now see with Worf. Now I've waited 2 days to do this, and there's a reason for that, and we'll cover that in a second. But I think that overall, the addition of the Son of Mogh events are good in terms of I like the idea of what they're trying to do. And what I mean by that is, if you look right here, you can see that the milestones that I have to reach are pretty high, and that's going to be a theme of what we're talking about today. However, that said, the rewards are pretty awesome. And that is 27 Worf shards, which, if you are not aware, is basically the most that they've ever presented. They've never really given that much before, so it's nice to see that level of attention given to the sourcing of an officer. And they're doing it in a way that technically everybody has access to. Now, I use the word technically because of the high amounts, and I want to hit on that for a second. I like the idea of changing things up and trying to get something new, fresh, etc. But I did this poll. As the time of me recording this has been an hour or two, so I ended up getting a couple hundred, I think like 300 something responses, but I didn't give it that much time on my Discord, where I asked, hey, did you feel that this was too high, really high but difficult? How did you really feel? Now, we'll add that this looks okay-ish in terms of the results, but I will also say that it is a huge difference in the player levels here. Almost everybody, and I followed up with a lot of these in the Discord, almost everybody who voted A or B is below level 40. Almost everybody who voted negatively is above, and it was a huge disparity between the two. So it's not that it's impossible. I definitely think that these are doable events, but it's how much effort are you having to put in to get to those. And let's talk about some of the point totals. So for example, we were given graciously, and I think that one of the members in my Discord worded it perfectly, that when it comes to how generous they've been in giving things to the player base, this arc so far, it's been an A+. It's been amazing what they're doing to try to make the community feel better about the game in terms of when arcs come out, feeling like they have enough to really contribute. But then when they do these new style of milestones, they've really raised it to a level that's really, really difficult to hit. And it wasn't just this, by the way. If you remember the events that we had to run a couple days ago that were alliance-wide, which sadly have flown and fallen off the board, but where we had to do the milestone for the entire server to get the frame and everything. Most servers did not complete that I've talked to. Some did. My server did not. And I was not alone there. Most of the servers that I talked to, as I said, did not get to finish that event. Thus, they didn't get the epic reward at the very end with the frame and everything else. And this is the same idea. This is really high. Now, it's important for us to have this discussion because we're running multiple of these in the month. And things like milestones can get changed. Events typically aren't going to get pulled and taken away, but you can change milestone events slightly, or point scoring. And I want to talk about point scoring real quick before I get into why it's so difficult for other people at other levels and everything like that. Let's talk about the directives. So they did give us 2,100 rare directives, which is fantastic. I think that is a massive, massive gift, and I'm so glad that they chose to do that because there's Armada events and there's these milestone events. Now, these milestone events are typically going to give you the points from doing them in terms of, let's just put it this way. Typically, the points you're going to get here are because you're spending uncommons, not because you're spending the rare armadas. Can you do that? Sure. But at the end of the day, if I was to use every armada I was given, I would still not finish this event if that's all I used. And I could run, like 11 armadas, which would be 165,000 points. Well, they didn't give me 165,000 points worth. They just didn't. You know, or they didn't give me 170,000. They gave me 165,000. But this is the one event. There's more of these coming. And then, of course, you have these spin materials. Now, I want to show you the stark difference in why you have so many people in the 40 plus who are upset. So this is me. You can see at the back, 170,000 at level 39. Now take a look at it now at level 40. One level up. 933,000 points. Now, the logic behind this is that getting 4-star materials is a lot easier in terms of pure numbers than it is to get 3-star. In fact, you can get generally about 3 times as much in terms of overall events and things that are going on. To give you an example of what I mean by that, I could take you a look and show you my items menu. And let's go over to my materials. Here, let's just take this off the screen real quick. As soon as I get it pulled up, I'll take it off the screen. Hold on just a second. So transition. So here's all my 4-star stuff. Now I've gotten this from scrapping and then from events. So for example, I've got 18,500 4-star gas right now. I've only got like 2,000 4-star gas or 3-star gas. And in the same time it's taken me to get this, I've probably earned about 5,000 gas, and I've used that to build and scrap a Mayflower. So at the end of the day, you can get a lot more thanks to Parabellum, thanks to the Jelly Brawl, and other events. And if once you hit level 40, your battle pass changes to start giving you, the 4-star uncommon there. So it's easier to get these items 4-star. At the same time, the amount that they're asking you to get and use and spend in a single milestone is really, really high. As you can see, 933,000. And if you want to use your handy dandy calculator and take a look at how much uncommon you would have to spend, well, Jesus. Remember, 4-star uncommon gives you the same amount of points as 3-star uncommon, which is only 100 points per. So, yeah, basically score 93,000 spent. Yikes, right? I mean, yikes. Can we all agree that's a big yikes? And I'm going to confirm that with my low calculator. Yeah, 9,333. Yikes. Oof. That's a lot. It's doable. It is doable. It's a lot. And it's one of those things where, I think I said 90,000 at first. Whoopsies. But it's what I'm getting at is that if you've got those materials to spend, cool. But you've also got multiple versions of these coming up. Remember, this was the big thing that they listed out. Hey, here's how you go and complete these events to get this officer unlocked in 1 month. 1 month. Well, for me to do that, I had to complete these milestones. I'm not able to do that multiple times in a run because I simply don't get that much from the game. I think that's the biggest issue for most people. It's not that we're getting super gypped or anything. It's just that you're not getting enough to relatively or to compete it with relative ease. You are able to complete it. You are able to compete. But can you do it again? Can you do it a third time? Can you do it for 4 of 10 and for, Worf? Let's also not forget that they have changed the leaderboard event entirely. No longer does doing what we're doing now, spending uncommons, work for this. We get a very, very cut-off domination event. Now, what I mean by cut-off, I'll show you. Bam. Right here. 1 powerful research, station defenses, because the docks no longer count. So instead of letting your uncommon spending work, you're basically having to do 2 things. If you want to win the leaderboard, you've got to do domination style, which this is very, very not good. This is not a good setup. You have people who camp levels. I'm at 39. I have no guns to update. I have very little things that I can update in my station that give me any type of power boost. And I guess I could do research, but these style domination events are awful. Officer XP, ship XP, sometimes those things are much better. This is no bueno. And now that you've separated them, you're kind of having to pick and choose. Well, what do I do? Do I complete them? They need to work together as they always have. I really like the idea of increasing the amount of shards so that you can work on getting this to the player base quicker. And even if you have to raise the initial level, that's cool. However, you've got to make it to where it is easily completable, and you've got to let it work in conjunction with the solo leaderboard. And now, just to make you feel even worse, look at the level 45. 1.6 million that they've got to get. 1.6 million. That is quite a bit. Quite a bit indeed. And I'm not saying that this is terrible. I really don't. I just think it needs adjustment because this is a new style. There's some little tweaks I think that need to be made to make this better for everybody. But I also have been really big that you need to provide your feedback for what you think down in the comments, also in Discord, in surveys, everything, because like I said, this whole month is a bunch of new stuff in terms of how they're running and testing things out. So you've got to provide that feedback so they know what they can do, can't do, what works and what doesn't. And if you don't, then nothing ever changes. They've already told us as content creators that they are monitoring feedback and potentially will change these events for the upcoming versions if the feedback says that it needs to be done. So y'all know what to do now, everybody. Live long and prosper. Stay safe with our Space Cowboys. Drop your comments down in the comment section below and let us know what you think. Y'all are awesome. As always, I appreciate you watching the channel, and we'll try to do whatever we can to make it better for you. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next one.
Fancy intro music, yeah! Woo!